Hello, dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Ghulam Shabir Khaskeli, Assistant Professor in Zoology in Government Boys Degree College, Shahzadpur. Today we are discussing chapter number 13. Its name is Gaseous Exchange. But we are taking the part of zoology discussing the gaseous exchange in animals. You know what gases are exchanged? First we should know what gases are exchanged. One, oxygen and other carbon dioxide. How they are exchanged and why they are exchanged? They are exchanged through a process of diffusion. Oxygen is taken by the animals and carbon dioxide is given out by the animals. Why oxygen is taken by the animals? Because oxygen is essential for the metabolic process, that is energetic process called respiration. We already know respiration is energy releasing process which produce energy in form of ATP. It's also called redox process because oxidation and reduction takes place in this process. Oxygen is necessary for the burning of organic food in the cells. That's why we take in oxygen from our environment. And meanwhile, in the cells, the carbon dioxide is produced. It's a poisonous, it's a dangerous. If it is accumulating in the cells, it can cause the death of the humans or animals. So, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged. How? Oxygen is taken in from environment and carbon dioxide is given out into environment. Now, we should discuss that what are the properties of respiratory surface and what are the respiratory media. You know that where the gases are exchanged, one of the properties that it should allow or permit the gases efficiently, that is permeability, and other property that the respiratory surface should be moist or wet so that gases can exchange efficiently through process of diffusion. Other is that respiratory surface should be larger in relation to the volume of animal body. Other thing is that respiratory medium should be moist or wet. So these are the basic properties which allow efficient gaseous exchange in the animals. Other thing we should know that what are the media, means where animals exchange these gases. What are their environment? There are major two environments. One environment is aquatic, other is terrestrial for the animals. We already know that in terrestrial environment the major portion for gaseous exchange is air. You know, air contains 21% of oxygen. If we see the composition of atmosphere, we will know that there is 21% of oxygen concentration in atmosphere. But if we take the same volume of water, we will find only 5% of oxygen dissolved in water. So it means the best medium for the gaseous exchange is not aquatic environment, but it's a air or atmosphere. What is the reason? Reason is that water is denser than the air. So due to density of water, or water is more saturated, that's why there is a lesser concentration of oxygen in the water. So we studied the gases exchange in animals. What gases are exchanged? That is oxygen and carbon dioxide. And what is the meaning of gases exchange? Means taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide with environment. Why we take in oxygen? For the purpose of respiration. Respiration means energy releasing process. If there is an energy in cells in form of ATP, the cells, our specialized cells, can perform their related activities such as growth, movement, etc. So they need ATP, and ATP is produced through the process of respiration, and respiration uses oxygen. That's why oxygen is essential for we people and for other animals. And we discuss the properties of the respiratory surfaces, that it should be permeable, it should be larger, with a larger surface in relation to the volume of animal body, and it should be wet and next we are discussing hydra, gases exchange in hydra. Already we know that hydra is the simplest animal. It's an aquatic animal, lives in water. It's a diploblastic. It has diploblastic level of organization, and it has no well developed organ system. If we see hydra body wall is composed of two layers, one outer ectoderm called epidermis and other inner called endoderm. These are the ectodermal cells and these are the endodermal cells. And we have already discussed the digestive cavity of hydra, that is called gastrovascular cavity, that is called gastrovascular cavity. Ectodermal cells are in very close contact with oxygen. So oxygen molecules dissolved in water directly diffuse into the ectodermal cells, whereas the endodermal cells, how they receive oxygen. Water that enters in the filling to the gastrovascular cavity, the oxygen dissolved in that water, that oxygen is directly diffused into the endodermal cells. So means from outside water, surrounding water, oxygen is diffused directly into the ectodermal cells because they are very in close contact with the external medium water, and endodermal cells are in close contact with the water which is filled in a gastrovascular cavity. So endodermal cells take oxygen in from gastrovascular cavity and ectodermal cells from outside external surrounding water. Carbon dioxide in the same way, ectodermal cells diffuse out into the surrounding water and endodermal cells diffuse carbon dioxide out into the gastrovascular cavity, where from along with undigested food material and other nitrogenous wastes, carbon dioxide is also eliminated through this exterior opening. Now gases exchange in earthworm. I have drawn a figure of earthworm. Earthworm is a complex animal body, it is a triploblastic. Actually it has well developed organs, but yet no specialized respiratory organs. Only its entire skin surface is used for gases exchange. You know, this earthworm lives in moist places, in the burrows of moist places. So because it has no exoskeleton, it cannot live on dry places, dry environment. It would be desiccated. So it makes its burrows inside the moist soil. Now we know that there are microscopic soil pores through which the oxygen passes to the burrows. Means from atmospheric oxygen just passing through these microscopic soil pores up to the burrows of the earthworms. When oxygen reaches its burrows, now what happens that earthworm has some goblet cells in its skin, goblet cell in its skin. These are the goblet cells in the skin. They secrete a mucus which trap the moisture in the burrows, and also water coated soil particles, so that its skin should remain wet or moist. That is one of the property of respiratory surface we have already discussed. And its skin is devoid of exoskeleton, it's a very thin. It's another property of the respiratory surface present in earthworm. Now you see that when oxygen reaches to the skin surface, that is diffused into the skin cells, like this oxygen diffused into the skin cells. It's not up to the skin cells, but this earthworm has a well developed circulatory system, and it contains a blood, and it's a red blood because it contains hemoglobin as a respiratory pigment which help to transport oxygen to the deepest cells of its body. So it's not only that skin cells absorb this oxygen, but after that it binds with hemoglobin. But hemoglobin, we know that in earthworm hemoglobin is not found in RBCs, it is found dissolved in the plasma. So as the blood circulating throughout the body's parts, so this oxygen is transported up to the cells, where from it is diffused out into the tissue spaces and dissolved in the tissue fluid, where from it is exchanged between the cells and the tissue fluid. So the oxygen in this way reaches up to the every cells. Meanwhile, as a result of respiration, the carbon dioxide is produced, is also circulating through the skin surface by means of a blood circulatory system. So from skin, the carbon dioxide is diffused out, oxygen enters into the skin cells, then transported with the help of hemoglobin to all cells of the body of the earthworm, and meanwhile carbon dioxide when reaches to the skin surface through the blood circulatory system is diffused out. If you view out this skin, you will have these parts. Now this is the cuticle as a external covering, cuticle over the skin, and the outermost layer of its body is consisting of epidermal cells, like these are the epidermal cells. And this skin also possesses some modified cells called goblet cells. I have shown here, these are goblet cells which secrete a mucus which help to trap or absorb the moisture in its moist burrows. So afterwards the oxygen these are the capillaries. These are the capillaries in the body wall. As this layer of body wall is consisting of circular muscles. We already know that body wall of earthworm consisting of circular muscles and longitudinal muscles. The outer layer is consisting of circular muscles. So, after the epidermal cells, the oxygen enters into the blood through these capillary network and transported throughout the body. Now, we turn to cockroach. Gases exchange in cockroach. You know that cockroach is a complex animal. Its body is very complex. It is an insect. It belongs to Insecta, phylum Arthropoda, and it's a triploblastic one, and it's a terrestrial. So, if you will see the well developed system, respiratory system in cockroach is present. Now you see that cockroach, before discussing its respiratory system, we should know one point, that the cockroach body is divisible into three tegments. One anterior-most head, and next is thorax, and the last is abdomen. So there are three tegments in the body of cockroach. Why we have discussed these three parts? Because it's important from respiratory system point of view. How? That you see that head region is not involved like other animals. It's not involved in gases exchange or for breathing purpose or for taking oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Rather, its system is different. It has some exterior opening on both its lateral sides. These external openings are known as spiracles. You know, the spiracles are just slit like pores or apertures, and they are under the control of some valves. Valves are under the control of some muscles. So, muscles control the valves for their opening and closing of spiracles. Another thing is that its thorax part has two pairs of these spiracles, and its abdominal portion has 8 pairs of spiracles. Total the pairs of external or exterior openings in the thorax and abdomen of the cockroach are 10 pairs of spiracles, through which oxygen enters. These are the pores through which oxygen from the atmosphere or from the air enters. Suppose these are the pores, oxygen enters into these spiracles openings. So, if you see that 10 pairs of spiracles are present, but if we zoom out one of the spiracle and see that where it goes and what it becomes next. So, see, the spiracle opening is like this, and this spiracle opens into a tube like structure, that is tracheal tube. It means that cockroach or other insects have a tracheal respiratory system. Tracheal means consisting of trachea. Trachea simply means windpipes, air pipes through which air goes. So, now you see that this opening spiracles opens into the tracheal tube. Now, oxygen, I have shown here that oxygen enters through this opening into the tracheal tube, and tracheal tube inside the body divides or ramifies into fine canals. These fine canals are known as tracheoles. But we see here that these fine canals are tracheoles and blindly, and they have also fluid filled. They are also fluid filled. The fluid is withdrawn in the terminal part of the tracheoles, so that easily the oxygen can diffuse into the body cells or muscle cells. Now you see that oxygen when reaches to the body cells, but we know that oxygen is not transported through any body fluid like blood in case of cockroach or other insects. Rather, the oxygen directly entered through these spiracles and passing through this tracheal system, means trachea, and then fine tubules called tracheoles, which are ramified throughout the body cells. Oxygen when reaches to the ends of these tracheoles, there is a fluid for easy diffusion for the oxygen into the body cell. But meanwhile, when the carbon dioxide is produced in the body cells, it is not passed through the same way. It does not use the same route, rather it diffused out through the general body surface of the cockroach. But another thing important in the respiratory system of the cockroach is that we see that oxygen directly reaching to the body cells, not by means of transport medium. There is no need of a transport system. As in other animals, we know that blood has a red color because of hemoglobin. Here there is no hemoglobin in cockroach or other insects because it's no needed for transport of oxygen. How? Because oxygen directly reaches through the tracheal system to the cells, hence there is no need of hemoglobin or no need of circulatory system for especially transport of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. So that's why we see that tracheal system in cockroach is a respiratory system, and that's all about. Thank you very much.